Akriti while I was gone and carefully placed a note on her seat. How you planted a bomb in my glove compartment and then pretended to help me. That passport you showed us claiming to be Akriti's was fake too, said Rahul, putting all the facts in front of her. Sad you figured it out so late, intelligence officer, Rashi said scornfully. Why are you doing all this? I have never met you before and our jobs are strictly professional. You just can't take it personally. The fact that we accomplished Operation Tusk before Ran had nothing to do with you or your team. It wasn't a personal attack. But what you are doing to Akriti and me is a personal attack, and I can put charges against you for the same. It's not a war between Ran and Ina, for God's sake. I like your frustration, Rashi smiled cunningly. Yes, it's not a war. It is pure revenge. What for? I am not in the mood to tell you. Now that the truth is out in the open, I challenge you, find your girlfriend or I will kill her. I give you 4 days, Mr. Rahul, Assistant Central Intelligence Officer, to rescue your girlfriend, prove your worth, put your brains to work. Otherwise, you will lose Akriti forever. What have you done with Akriti? Speak up, bitch, Rahul could not control his fury. Mind your tongue, intelligence officer. Do you think I've so intricately designed my plan only to solve it for you at the end? Calling me a bitch proves how weak you are at this point. When a man doesn't have the patience to deal with shit, he calls women bitches. People like you, who call women bitches for overpowering men, are defeated cowards. Now stop wasting time. I have already declared an ultimatum of 4 days. Prove that you are a man and save your girl or pay the price for your deeds. Rashi was invincible. How did you manage to hide the money in Rahul's flush tank? Nirav interrupted their conversation. Looking at Rahul, Rashi answered, how could you forget that I was at your home to meet Karen along with my parents? Remember how you mentioned that it was unusual for the girl's family to visit the boy's family? That was it. I used your washroom, and I must say that hiding money inside a sari blouse hardly arouses suspicion. That was how I destroyed your integrity. Is Akriti alive? Where is she? Rahul pleaded with Rashi to tell him. Yes, very much. But for how long depends totally on you. When you stopped the car at the food mall and went inside, I kidnapped Akriti in the exact manner you just mentioned. I also gave the event an interesting climax, the bomb. I knew you would detect the bomb in the car and exit safely. You're at least that smart. However, you believed in my theories sooner than I expected. Now you're no more than a puppet in my game. You know it all but you can't prove it. You have heard it all but you can't make others listen. Rashi told Rahul. Rahul somehow wanted to hurt Rashi for everything she had done and tried to overpower her physically, but Nirav stopped him. Frustration had taken a toll on him. There's no point in trying to harm me. I am the only person who knows where your girlfriend is. Prove your prowess, officer. This is an ultimatum. You have 4 days to find our girlfriend alive or find her dead, she said, showing him 4 fingers. After that, she left them, more astonished than when she had come. It never did end, did it? It was all still tumbling and rolling. Remember the hopscotch game that we played as kids where we made a hopscotch grid, numbering the squares from 1 to 9 using chalk? You took a stone and tossed it in square 1 and then hopped over the square on a foot or both feet, following the hopscotch pattern all the way to square 9, but the game didn't end there. You had to turn around and come back, stop on square 2, balance on one foot, and pick up the stone in square 1 and hop over. Didn't it teach you the rules of the game of life? We hop and reach our destination, and in the middle, we even hop over people, thinking they will be left behind. But that's not where the game ends. After reaching the last square, you have to come back, pick up the person while balancing your present, and pay the price for hopping over them. That's how the circle is completed. Rahul had started his return journey when he had decided to come back to Mumbai. Was it even his decision or the situation life had put him into, forcing him to turn around and pick up all the people he had hopped over, including his parents? But will he be able to complete the circle of life successfully, or, due to his past mistakes, will he be forced to give up his present? I don't know what I have done. This girl seems to be to destroy my happiness and integrity for no reason I can think of. Yet, she says she is seeking revenge, that she has a strong reason. What could that be? Why am I here? Oh God, please help me. Show me the way and forgive me for sins I have committed unknowingly. These thoughts plagued Rahul every second of his life. If it was so easy to skip the levels and hurdles in life through cheat codes, like a video game, God wouldn't have made us play his game called life. Rahul reached home to find a package addressed to him lying on the table. He picked it up and went inside his room. Nirav had also come with him. Rahul tore the brown covering and found a letter inside. He opened it. What he read added another blow to his situation. Nirav, who saw Rahul's face turn pale, asked him what was written in it. It's a suspension letter, Rahul declared. What? Nirav was disturbed upon hearing this. Yes. Till the time the bribing charges are removed from my name and I am proven innocent, I am suspended. Rashi is turning out to be a nightmare. The woman shoots bullets at regular intervals. Why didn't Director Jain inform us about this? It's strange that the director kept such important information from us. Nirav called Director Jain immediately and had a word with him. The director's take on the matter was that he felt guilty about the suspension orders, as the ministry had had a meeting with the director first, after which the order was issued. I am sorry, but I had little option. There was too much pressure on me, and I had no justification for what had happened, though we insiders know the bitter truth. Moreover, this wasn't the right time to reveal the truth to anyone, as we have no proof. But let me talk to Rahul. Give him the phone. If he's beside you. Nirav handed the phone to Rahul. Yes, sir, Rahul said. Rahul, I know it's not the right time to even ask how you are. I am sorry about what's happened. But I want you to work on this at a personal level and resolve it as soon as possible. Though I can't give you official orders to proceed, you have my support. We have no option other than finding Akriti and recording her statement to prove that you weren't at fault. Yes, sir, Rahul said before disconnecting the call. What happened? Is everything okay? Karan asked, as he entered Rahul's room and saw their dejected faces. Karan realized that he didn't know Rahul's friend, so he introduced himself. Hi, I am Karan, Rahul's brother. Nirav also introduced himself. Hi, I am Nirav. I am also Rahul's brother. Karan felt at sea and asked, so, has something bad happened? Rahul has been suspended for taking bribes, Nirav told him. Oh, no. What now? Retirement, maybe. Nirav tried to joke but Rahul waved him off. It'll get better, Rahul, Karan tried to console him. I am at the abyss. It can only get better from here, Rahul said, as he left the room. Day 2. Rahul had asked Nirav to stay with him at his house rather than staying at the hotel. After having their morning tea, Rahul started a discussion on the thought that had kept him awake at night. She is not associated with Rashid. She seems to be a genuine RAN officer. Then how do we explain her abominable actions? Rahul said to Nirav. Are her intentions connected with your past? That's what the note written by her was all about. Time and again, she has hinted towards it. Nirav suggested. That's what I've been thinking too. If this is related to my past, it has to be connected to Trisha, my love in school. I can't think of any other person in my life with whom she would associate my past, Rahul said. But what does Rashi have anything to do with Trisha? And why would she avenge Trisha after all these years? Nirav was in doubt. Was I wrong in not informing Trisha before taking the drastic step of leaving everything behind? I just put the gift where we were supposed to meet and left without giving her any information, Rahul spoke thoughtfully. At that time, he had felt that his action was justified. He had loved Trisha so much, it would have been difficult to leave her if he'd seen her before leaving. But now, he couldn't help looking back on that incident. From her perspective, you definitely did the wrong thing. The two of them thought for a while before Nirav spoke. If Rashi is the one plotting everything, I am sure she must have left a hint so that we can reach the place she wants us to. Why don't you talk to Karan? Maybe he knows something about her that we don't. You're right. I should have thought of this before. We should ask Karan about her, Rahul agreed. Rahul called Karan and asked him whether he recalled anything that Rashi might have revealed regarding her own life. Nothing special as such, Karan told them. Anything? Maybe where she lived or where she studied or anything about her friends? Rahul asked. Ed. Yes, I think she told me that she studied at Holy Cross and stays near the school itself. The picture seemed clearer to Rahul now. Holy Cross. The school where Trisha had studied. I need to meet Rashi right away. Rahul got up, determined to clear his doubts immediately. His battle was against time. Only 2 days remained. Is this related to Trisha? You are here to take revenge because I didn't inform her before leaving. This has nothing to do with Ran or Ina. This is your personal war and you are here to avenge her. What I don't understand is, almost 2 decades later, why on earth would you want to dig up the past? And how on earth are you related to Trisha? I am sure she has moved on. Then why do you want to fuck up the present? Rashi smiled at Rahul's perplexed expression but didn't say anything. Nirav said, you abducted Akriti because that was the only way you could hurt Rahul and avenge Trisha. Rahul added, I am %% sure that the attack that happened at Akriti's house was planned by you and your colleagues. You were not targeting Akriti as an RAN officer to save her but as someone related to Trisha. You knew that hurting her would hurt me, and you did exactly that. You tried to frame her, tried to make her look bad in my eyes. You deluded me into believing she tried to kill me. And you did this for revenge. Your only motive is to torture me and ruin my peace. Now that we know your intentions, you'd better tell us where AKR ITI is. You gave us 4 days and we are here on the 2nd day itself, exposing you. You've got it wrong, officers. The ultimatum is not about you finding out about my intentions. It is about you finding Akriti for yourselves. Even if this is about Trisha, does that help you in finding Akriti? Rashi raised her eyebrows and answered. Calm and composed, she was sure of her every step. Not only hers, she was confident about Rahul's moves too. He was, after all, a pawn in her game, and she was playing him as she desired. May I if you have both finished? Nirav questioned. When both Rashi and Rahul allowed Nirav to speak, he asked Rashi. Give me a little clarity on this subject. How are you associated with Trisha? Who are you? And after so many years, what are you going to get? By proving that Rahul was wrong in abandoning Trisha? Do you realize how stupid your motive sounds, punishing a man for a small mistake he committed as a kid? You are ruining a person's life, so he should at least know how you are connected with his past, how you are connected with Trisha. Throw some light on that, will you? Realizing that she was the master of the game in which the two officers sitting in front of her were helpless pawns, Rashi decided to reveal her deck of cards. Yes, each one of my assaults is for Trisha. I want Rahul to be defeated and broken. I want him to know that leaving Trisha alone on a park bench waiting for him was the biggest mistake of his life, and that he will pay for it with every bit of his life. Because I am Trisha, the girl who loved Rahul with all her heart. I am the Trisha of your past, the girl who received betrayal for loving a boy so immensely. This can't be true. Rahul was stunned to hear what the girl sitting in front of him had just said. Don't waste your time, Rahul. There are more surprises waiting at your doorstep. And remember, the clock behind you will not stop ticking. Tick. Tick. Tick, Rashi said, and Rahul thought he saw a tear in her eye. Strike a note, you have to play this game and I'll kill you in 1,000 ways, and make you feel nothing but pain. Remember, I am just seeking an opportunity to take revenge, for remember I am the only devil and the only God. I am your past. And when the past seeks revenge, it can destroy anything that comes in its way. It can defeat your present, it can jeopardize your future. That is the wrath of the past, it is invincible. After they had reached home, Rahul and Nirav were once again sitting on Rahul's bed, processing the news they'd just been given. Rahul was holding his head in his hands, unable to trust the veracity of Rashi's words. Every confrontation with that woman was so excruciating. Do you really think she is Trisha, or is she bluffing? Nirav asked. No, she can't be Trisha. Rashi looks nothing like Trisha, Rahul told him. Don't compare on the basis of the facial features she had 15 years ago. You should check the photo on my driving license, taken around 12 or 13 years ago. Even I don't recognize myself in that picture. Nirav showed him his driving license and Rahul couldn't help smiling. You resemble Kazib. That's why, bro, do not go on looks. Consider this thoroughly. This isn't just about the facial features. Trisha wouldn't grow up to be someone like Rashi. Trisha was my first love. I cannot believe the tender girl I knew could turn out like this. The sense of understanding and maturity she had at that age would never transform her into a woman like Rashi. There are no similarities between the two girls at all, Rahul explained. Should we ask her a few questions that only the two of you knew? For instance, any embarrassing episode like the one you shared with Akriti, when you were caught naked by Akriti's mom. Only Nirav could find humor in the gravest of situations. Rahul was not very pleased about it. We were covered with a blanket. Of course you were, Nirav laughed, but do you have similar memories? With Trisha? Not exactly but somewhat. What the fuck? Are you serious? Have you been a pervert since the beginning? I'll kick your arse. Trisha and I weren't sleeping together. It was a harmless kiss in the park. Karen had seen us do it, Rahul disclosed. Oh man. I haven't even hugged a girl at 30 and you had your first kiss in school. Now I get it, alright. It's your karma, Rahul. Now your karma is kissing you back. Nirav grinned. Are you done? Shall we get back to business? Rahul said irritably. Listen carefully, Nirav, since this is a personal attack, I want you to ask the director to stop the official investigation. The spy from Pakistan has been arrested. There is no need to proceed officially, Rahul continued. Nirav was about to call Director Jain when he received a WhatsApp text from the director himself. Check the news as soon as possible. I have sent you the link and forwarded it to Rahul as well. Rahul, check your WhatsApp. The director has sent a link, Nirav said. And opened the link. Rahul also opened the link on his phone. Assistant Intelligence Officer Rahul booked for bribery charges in a secret operation, alleged to have set Pakistani spy free. The Investigation Bureau found the money in his flush tank when they raided his house. No signs of arrest yet. Yet another appalling surprise from Rashi was exposed, and from the look on Rahul's face, it was evident he didn't like it. The man who had lived his professional life with pride and integrity, who was one of the most eminent officers of the INA, was not only suspended, but also publicly accused of treason. Rahul was devastated on reading the article that mentioned all the allegations against him and called him a quisling. Throughout his career, Rahul had sacrificed every bit of himself for his country. He had done his duty with diligence and honesty, and now, in return, he received suspense, ion and public shame. This was no longer a game. His reputation was at stake, his integrity had been called into question, while love continued to play vile tricks with him. Chapter 13. Day 3. You don't need a degree in psychology to see that someone is lying, and there was no doubt in Rahul's mind that Rashi was making everything up. The fact that she had abducted Akriti was believable. However, her claims to be Trisha sounded groundless to him. But he had no proof and had to give in to the situation. Rahul felt anguish over the media's harassment and persecution, but he preferred to stay away from all of it. Rashi had managed to make a noise that had begun to crescendo. Rahul had even considered seeking help from his parents as they knew Rashi's family, but he decided against it. They were very displeased with him and would never agree to help. The next morning, Rahul's dad berated him, "You'd better find that girl Akriti and leave immediately. Tell her parents that you have our permission to get settled together. But just spare us the trouble of living with us and making it any more of a nightmare than it already is." Rahul had nothing to say in return. He did not wish to defend himself any more, so he went back to his room where Nirav had already overheard their conversation. "We need to find out where Rashi stays," Rahul told Nirav. "We have no option but to request Karen to extract that information from your parents," Nirav said. They were doubtful whether Karen would agree to extort information from his parents. After all, Karen had always been the obedient son who was known to never break the rules. When they confronted him, he agreed without a moment's hesitation. The whole day he kept trying to figure out ways to approach his father, and after a lot of effort, he was able to obtain Rashi's address. He handed over the information to Rahul. Day 4. Rahul, are you sure we're doing the right thing? Barging into a girl's house. Without permission? I mean, what if the door is locked? Can you knock the door down like Daya in Sid? Nirav was dubious. Rahul and Nirav had both navigated to the desired location once they had the much needed information. I am not backing off now. If we want to find out anything about Rashi, this is the only place that can give us answers. You can either come with me or go back home. The choice is yours. Of course, you are my Supandai and I am your Mati. I will do as you say, like a good friend, Nirav snickered. As the two of them drove closer to their destination, Rahul's biggest nightmare was coming true. He was almost at the same location where Trisha had stayed, and the map took them to the exact lane where her apartment had been. The voice on Google Maps declared that they had reached their destination, and it was the same building where Rahul remembered Trisha living. Karen had given them no information about the flat number. Although Rahul could not recall Trisha's flat number, he knew the floor, and when they reached the wing, he saw a familiar nameplate on one of the flats. Oh God! Now I remember Dad mentioning Rashi's surname. The Pathak family was supposed to come home. So Nirav looked confused. Trisha's surname was also Pathak. Saying this, Rahul tried the door to the flat but it was locked. Let's take a modest route by asking the watchman, Nirav suggested, and walked towards the watchman who sat reading a newspaper in his cabin. Can you tell us whether the Pathak family still stays here? Nirav questioned. Yes. But no one is there at their house right now. You are, the watchman asked. We are Trisha's friends. No problem, thank you, Nirav replied. Rashi's story was like a maze for Rahul. He had tried many ways but all the gates had been bolted. Yet, he was compelled to solve the maze because one of the paths led to the love of his life. I know what to do. There's only one solution. All this time we followed her footsteps, now she will have to follow ours, Rahul told Nirav. What are you up to? I'll call her to the same place where Trisha and I used to meet, the same spot by the lake in the garden. She claims to be Trisha, doesn't she? Let's see how she gets there. Our meeting spot was privy to only Trisha and me. Rahul smiled. And Karen who saw you kissing, Nirav winked. Rahul had dialed Rashi's number and asked her to come to the place where he and Trisha used to meet. He had not given away more details. All the masked probabilities would be exposed, leaving behind the traces of truth. And nothing else. Slowly but steadily, the pieces of his past were fitting together to form a complete picture, which would put an end to all the complexities he had gone through in the past few days. With only a few hours left before the fourth day ended, he was still in the game and he would prove that it was not over yet. Are you sure she won't come? Nirav asked once they reached the garden and walked towards the same spot where Rahul had left his past incomplete. He had never thought that life would bring him back to the same square. But here he was, with memories flashing in his head. He remembered how innocent loving someone at such a young age had felt. He remembered how he'd once loved a girl with an angel face. He pictured Trisha waiting for him to surprise her with a gift. He pictured her getting up to leave, with the dejected face of a jilted lover. Nirav sensed that Rahul was lost in his thoughts. His eyes had become moist. Are you okay? Nirav asked. Yes, it's just that this place reminds me of her, Rahul told him. Do you still love her? No, but I once did, with all my heart. Now we've grown up and left those years behind us. I hope Trisha is happy wherever she is. I just want to know what Rashi is up to, Rahul said pensively. Before Nirav could think of a suitable response, they saw Rashi walking towards them. With every step she took towards them, Rahul grew more perplexed. When he thought he had reached the pinnacle of the mountain, he slipped hard and fell back to the ground. He was now mentally and emotionally incapacitated. You didn't expect me here, did you? Rashi said with her signature smile. Rahul was too distraught to speak. How did this woman know everything? Why don't we sit here again? Let's kiss each other the way we did before, forgetting the world around us. Why did you leave me waiting, Rahul? The sadness of that waiting has killed me for years. Remember, this was the place where you had left your gift for me. Rahul interrupted her as if some thought had just struck him. He smiled and broke his silence. Before kissing, let's go to the stall where we used to eat Pani Puri for a snack. What do you say? Rashi looked puzzled and Rahul knew that she had no information on the subject. Why don't you lead? Rahul said, gesturing to Rashi to show them the direction. But Rashi only walked till the exit and stopped, not knowing which direction to head towards. Rahul smiled and asked her to guide them, but she didn't move a step. You were lying. You're not Trisha. I loved her, and even though we parted ways, I know that she wasn't a girl who could go to such extremes to hurt someone. Sadly, before you came here, your watchman gave us all the information we needed, Rahul finally told Rashi. When both Nirav and Rahul had walked towards the watchman's cabin and asked whether the Pathak family stayed in the same apartment, the watchman had nodded affirmatively, and when he asked them who they were, Rahul had conned him by saying they were Trisha's friends. Trisha, madam. But she doesn't stay here. Rahul was sharp to catch on to the watchman's reply. If Rashi claimed to be Trisha, the Wasi Haman wouldn't have said that she didn't stay there. It was clear that Rashi was tricking them. Oh. We were such great friends in school. Can you tell us where she stays? Rahul asked, eager to find out the truth. I don't know where she stays, the watchman finally replied. Rahul thought he had almost got there, but the watchman had no clue about Trisha's whereabouts. So who stays here, then? Nirav asked. Her sister, Rashi. An after-storm silence filled the air that surrounded them. Rashi was like a storm that had passed, destroying everything but Rahul's will. Rahul had sought answers and, having obtained them, he had called Rashi to the same place where he used to meet Trisha, thinking she wouldn't know where to come, but even after she did, Rahul had peeled away the layers of falsehood and deceit Rashi had used to cover her true being. So, is there anything you'd like to say, Ms. Rashi? How does it feel to be exposed? Rahul asked scornfully. Yes, I am Rashi, Trisha's sister. But Rahul, finding that out doesn't make you a prodigy. You think you are here because you cracked it? No, you are here because I wanted you to be here. I wanted you to be at the place where you left my sister heartbroken. I wanted you to recall the injustice you did to a 14-year-old heart madly in love. She continued, the day we failed in the operation to imprison Rashid, and your team cracked it, was the day I heard your name again, after so many years. I instantly knew you were the same guy who broke my sister, Trisha, emotionally. That was when I decided to knock your brains out, to torture you, to humiliate you, to strip your integrity and to leave you anguished, with the help of my friends, who were in my team. And that's what I did. You planted a bomb in his car. That isn't torture. It's attempted murder. Nirav said angrily. Rashi laughed. If an intelligence officer cannot detect a bomb, he might as well die. Where is Trisha? Rahul's voice was full of guilt. Sorry, did I hear Trisha instead of Akriti? Rashi asked with a tone of sarcasm in her voice. It's not funny, Rashi. Where is she? After 15 years, do you finally realize that it was not funny? Leaving a girl like that. You are the epitome of selfishness, Rashi said. Angrily. Rashi, will you please tell me where Trisha is, and is she okay? Rahul pleaded with her. Why should I tell you that? Rashi was still not moved. Because I am requesting you, Rahul's tone softened, his eyes looked worried. He needed to know if she was okay. Trisha is in an asylum, Rashi finally told him. 18 years before, Trisha was a strong cup of coffee in a world that was drunk on beer. Relationships are hard to handle, they say, but for her, they were as simple as ABC. Not only did she share good relationships with friends but also with her family. Trisha and Rashi were the best of sisters. They were each other's heartbeats. Rashi was older than Trisha, and Trisha always looked up to her for advice. Rashi protected her sister and wanted the best for her. They were so close that sometimes, their mother worried about how they would live in separate houses after marriage, to which the girls would happily say, we'll ask the boys to come stay at our place. We don't want to marry if there are so many restrictions on girls after marriage. Nobody can separate us. They won't dare. Why do only girls need to adjust after marriage? Tell boys to leave their parents and stay with us. Why should we leave our parents if they can't leave theirs? Who made such stupid traditions? We'll change all these. When we grow up, we'll make our husbands leave their parents and stay with our family. It has to be the new rule. If they want us to leave our family, then they also have to leave theirs. Tit for tat. And if they don't agree, then we will take so much dowry from them that we can insure you. With that money, we'll change all the traditions when we grow big. You are both too small to think about all this. You don't know how the world is, was their mother's signature reply, whenever they tried to square accounts. Their camaraderie sometimes worried their parents, because when someone would hurt Trisha in school, Rashi paid them back in full, and when someone would tease or upset Rashi, Trisha knew how to get even with them. However, looking at their love for each other, they felt proud of the way they had raised their children. Everything was smooth sailing until Trisha's life was turned upside down. Earlier that day, Sandy had handed a letter to Trisha. After reaching home, Trisha had locked her room and taken the letter from her bag and smiled to herself. Since the day that Karen had seen them kissing, she had pretended to be angry so that Rahul would confess his love for her. After reading the letter, she had tears in her eyes. She had immediately gotten in touch with Rahul, and they had decided to meet on Monday. But on Monday, when she reached the garden, Rahul was nowhere to be seen, although she spotted a gift-wrapped box at the place they used to sit. She looked around for him, but to no avail. Then she went to the Pani Puri stall where they generally ate and asked the vendor if he'd seen Rahul. Yes, he came here but he left shortly after. He'd eaten a lot of Pani Puris. The man behind the stall had told her. Did he say anything? Just that he was going somewhere far away and would take time to return. I even asked if it was some special trip, but he didn't answer. Trisha felt betrayed because Rahul had claimed to love her, and now he was nowhere to be seen. It was likely that he'd left for some place without bothering to tell her where. She had no inkling about where the love of her life had gone. Trisha went to a PCO booth nearby, and plucking up courage, she dialed Rahul's landline. She gave 3 missed calls, which was their code, in the hope that Rahul would pick up the call if he was home. But when she called a 4th time, Rahul's mother picked up and Trisha disconnected the call immediately. She tried a couple more times but had no luck. Even after returning home, she tried dialing Rahul again, but this time, Mr. Rana picked up. Rahul's unexplained absence distressed Trisha. She kept the little panda stuffed toy that Rahul had gifted her on the study table as an air of melancholy surrounded her. You told me I was the girl of your dreams, but you stopped dreaming. I don't want to believe that there's a world where you can exist without me, she thought, as she went to sleep with lost hopes. Tender feelings and bad timing make for the most painful combination. To be left without a goodbye or an explanation is the worst thing that can happen to a lover. Rashi watched as her younger sister's smile slowly faded away. If things were not already bad enough, Trisha was blamed for Rahul's disappearance. She was told that it was because of her that he had left home forever. It was only then that Trisha discovered that Rahul had stolen money to buy her a gift. The humiliation continued for more than a month. And she began to hate herself. Girls called her a slut because they had somehow heard about Rahul and Trisha kissing in the park. They commented on how she was so demanding as a girlfriend that Rahul had to steal money to buy her a gift. Trisha found herself becoming the topic of whispered conversations in hallways, and it was at these times that she wished she were dead. Trisha was disconsolate because, on the one hand, she missed her boyfriend who'd not cared to tell her before leaving. And, on the other hand, she was held guilty for crimes she'd never committed. Somebody was efficiently spreading rumors about her wherever she went. This was making her life impossible. You can't put too much pressure on a 14-year-old. Trisha forced herself to smile every day. She tried to be happy despite the cruel environment around her. Then, when it became too much of a task, all of a sudden, she stopped smiling. Rahul had hurt her like no one else had. That was the time when Rashi realized she had lost someone close to her, a friend, and a family member. Sadness swept over Rashi the day her sister lost her purpose in life. Rashi forced herself to smile, but no optimism took over from the grief she went through as she watched her sister suffer at such a tender age, when she didn't even understand what life is about. When Rahul planted flowers inside her, Trisha had thought he would water them too. Silly her, they died. Chapter 14. Present day. Rahul was grief-stricken upon hearing about Trisha. He could not fathom how his leaving her could have impacted her life so deeply. Who spread these rumors about her being responsible for me running away? Rahul wanted to know. It was a boy from your school. He not only tortured her whenever they passed each other, he made sure that every person viewed her as a slut. He publicized the kiss in and around our school, our locality, and her tuitions. Through his friends, Trisha found it difficult to go to school or attend tuitions, and eventually, she stopped going. We changed her school, but you know, when a girl is good looking, there are boys who try to dig up information related to her, and her character was crushed each and every time. It was then that we noticed Trisha was not just unhappy, she was suffering from depression. When she was blamed for the money you robbed, and demeaned for being a terrible girl, she was unable to take it. And that too for a few thousand rupees. Rashi continued, I don't care what situation you were in, but because of you, my family's situation disintegrated. You should have been more responsible. Who was that person, Rashi? Why are you hiding his identity? I want to know right away. Rahul was furious. But Rashi ignored him. She started behaving differently. She found it difficult to make friends. On many occasions, she tried to harm herself. I can still recall the day I saw her dancing on her bed, and I thought that she'd finally found something to make her happy, but then as soon as she noticed me, she started throwing things around. Doctors told us that her behavior was not normal anymore. She'd had a nervous breakdown. We were advised to take her to an asylum. I lost my smile because my sister was my happiness. I felt weak because Trisha was my strength. The feats I achieved professionally could not fill the void of my sister's absence. Nothing could make up for the loss of my best friend. Sometimes, you should choose your actions very carefully because you never know what damage they can do to a person. Your act of leaving made an indelible mark on her life. She felt that if she ever loved someone, they would leave her someday. She always smiled when she slept as if she were lost in the perfect dream, but when she woke up, she could not bring herself to face the harsh realities of the cruel world in front of her. What you did to her altered her life completely, Rashi said with tears in her eyes. Please tell me the name of that person, Rashi. Why won't you tell me? Rahul begged. Do you really want to know? Rashi looked at him. Rahul nodded. It was your elder brother, Karan, Rashi finally told him. Rahul was devastated on hearing that. He could never imagine Karan doing such a thing in his wildest dreams. He only saw the beauty of the long-bodied fish and admired its teeth and dark eyes and how its fin cut through the water like a hot knife through butter. It was only when he let it get close enough to bite, that he realized the fish was a shark. The good thing is that Trisha will be released from the asylum in a week's time. Rashi turned towards Rahul, anyway, you've already wasted time hearing the background story. You should concentrate on saving your girlfriend. There isn't much time left. Are you serious? Rahul was astounded by her indifference. Yes, very much so. The torture, the pain, and the humiliation you have to go through it all. You have to strive for what you want, just like my sister had to. She never got what she deserved. Whether you get what you deserve depends on you. Rahul shook his head, that is not justified. What is the difference between you and Karan? Whatever he did years ago, you are doing exactly the same. You are also doing atrocious things to seek revenge for a dear one. Your methods are profoundly wrong. How can you become the thing you once hated? I agree that Trisha shouldn't have been treated the way she was, but I had no clue that this was happening here in her world. I wish that I had never run away, that I'd been there for Trisha, but the past cannot be rewritten. I want to apologize for all that she and her family had to go through. But Rashi, I had run away for my own reasons. I have already told you my story. He continued, I am sorry for Trisha. I really am. There is nothing I would not do to go back in the past, if only to comfort her. I want to also apologize on Karen's behalf. But you must understand that you cannot inflict atrocities on someone else to avenge your sister. When a person goes through a certain trauma, he makes sure that he doesn't pass on that trauma to someone else, as he knows how it feels to be there. But you are getting carried away. Revenge is not a solution, and it has never worked. Anyhow, you have already crushed me in all the ways you could. Now by doing all this, if you want to prove that I am weak, do so. But that doesn't prove that you are strong. I would never want someone to go through what Trisha went through. Trisha will be released from the asylum in a very short time. She'll need you by her side, she'll need your love and support. From knowing Trisha when we were together, I can confidently say that had you been in her place, she would never have taken such drastic steps to seek revenge. Instead, she would have cared for you. Don't you think so? To heal a wound, you need to stop touching it. Rashi realized that Rahul's ignorance of the matter and his apologies were all genuine. Trisha would not be proud if she knew what Rashi had done in order to avenge her condition. Rashi decided, at last, to forgive him. Dude, you have become that guy from the Neelam show in the movie Kuch Hota Hai who ditched Suparna. Without informing, you just left. No. One asked what happened to Suparna, Nirav said, laughing on the way back home when Rahul was steaming with anger. How can you stay so fucking calm in every bloody situation? Rahul revved the car as he raised his voice. You should also use coconut oil, it'll be good for you, Nirav continued in his irrepressible style. As of now, Karen needs it to apply on his whole body. I am not going to spare him, Rahul declared. Rahul had asked Karen to wait near the highway close to their house, saying that he needed him for some urgent work. When Rahul and Nirav reached the highway, they saw Karen standing talking to someone on the phone. Rahul fumed as he parked the car. Nirav knew that terrible things would follow. Before Karen had time to process the situation, Rahul knocked him down with one blow. Karen managed to straighten up. One swift punch on Karen's jaw whipped his head backwards and he fell again. Karen tried to ask why Rahul was hitting him, but Rahul continued hitting him until he was satisfied. Karen tried to defend himself but did not fight back. When Rahul was done, he finally told Karen the cause of his fury. How could you have behaved like a moron, Karen? Rahul was furious. I am so sorry, Rahul. I was trying to get back at her. Sandy had told me how you had wanted to buy a present for her, so I'd assumed she was demanding. However, I only discussed the kiss with my friends. I didn't know that would lead to so many rumors that would taint Trisha's image. Sandy also told me that he'd suggested you run away, but never thought you would actually do it. So when I got to know this, it troubled me, and whenever I saw Trisha, I tried to get even with her. You have to understand I was a kid too, Rahul. I did not know how adversely this would affect Trisha. There was nothing serious to it. My insults were innocuous, and as a teenager, I couldn't understand that it would spoil her life. Oh God. I am so sorry, Karen was remorseful. You think it wasn't serious? You are a ruthless human being, Karen. No one stopped you as a child, and everything you did was considered right. Whereas whatever I did was labeled wrong, Ev. And if we did the exact same thing, every little thing that you escaped as a child gave you the courage to take such cruel steps. You knew that whatever the outcomes of your actions were, Mom and Dad would still support you. Despite that, I thought you were good at heart because you had kept my secrets. How immature could you have been? Shouldn't you have thought once before making a girl's life miserable? She's in a fucking asylum, Karen. Rahul screamed. Rahul, I am so sorry. Is there any way I could apologize to her? I had absolutely no idea of what she was going through, Karen said, wiping away the sweat from his forehead. Karen was upset. His immaturity had landed a 14-year-old in an asylum. It would take years for Karen to be able to forgive himself. The argument continued between the brothers until Karen broke down in front of Rahul. Rahul realized that he should not delay in rescuing Akriti. Rashi had revealed the location where she had kept Akriti for the past few days. Rahul needed to get there as fast as he could. Karen and Nirav accompanied him. For a moment, Rahul thought that Rashi had given in because she wanted Rahul and Trisha to be together, but later he realized that all she had wanted for him was to understand the consequence of an irrational action and a hasty decision. That was the reason she hadn't hurt him physically in the process of seeking revenge. But by clearing the dust of the past, you can't allow it to settle on your present. So although he felt terrible for Trisha, and prayed she would be okay, he knew that Akriti was his present, and that he had to rescue her as soon as possible. The indicator on the speedometer kept fluctuating, and the second hand on the clock kept revolving faster. Rahul had only a couple of hours left before he would see her. His heart was racing faster than both the speedometer and the hands of the clock. He could not decide whether he should have thanked Rashi for finally revealing the details of the location where she had kept Akriti or berated her for keeping her there for 5 days without food and water. So, he hadn't said anything and left soon after the details had been provided by Rashi. As of now, he pressed his foot on the accelerator, eager to find Akriti as soon as possible. The past few days have been difficult. Especially since you've not been here with me, but no matter how far away you are, our love will find a way. I eagerly anticipate the day when we will get back together, as I miss your tender touch, your kiss, and most of all, your hands as you caress my body. We were created for each other to ease each other's pain and sorrow, and to replace our sadness with love and happiness. I will love you eternally and unconditionally. I miss you more than words can convey, and my love will travel any distance to be close to you. I will find you soon, Akriti. Rahul entered Igatpuri, and navigating with the help of Google Maps, he had the location of the building that Rashi had informed him about. Rahul had never been there and it terrified him the idea that someone could live in this very building. It was deserted with ruins surrounding it. An edifice that emitted a frightening silence. Beside the front door, he noticed an empty space where a window once stood, now containing threatening remnants of sharp glass. He unlocked the door. Rahul reached the 10th floor where Akriti was incarcerated. There was a big fat lock on the entrance to the hall. He opened it with the set of keys that Rashi had given him. From there, looking down, the whole structure appeared monstrous. 4 interminable walls and a staircase leading to the foggy sky. Like a house straight out of a horror movie. Nobody could have escaped a prison like that. He tried many rooms on the 10th floor, but he only encountered dust, cobwebs, and graffiti on the walls. He shouted Akriti's name several times, but the rooms remained silent. Had Rashi misdirected him? Had she not forgiven him yet? Terrible thoughts were racing through his head when he tried the last room on the floor, breaking down the door. And there she was, lying in a corner of the room, lifeless. Akriti, get up, Rahul kept repeating the words, hoping she would hear. She opened her eyes for a few seconds and attempted to get up. But she couldn't. To her, the world was a blur of colors mixing with other colors and objects fusing together in front of her eyes. She lifted her hand to her head, wincing slightly. Her body felt weak, her eyelids felt heavy, and then there was nothing, except the silence of the darkness. Doctor, is she fine? What's wrong with her? Rahul and Nirav had immediately taken her to the nearest hospital. What happened to her? It seems as though she hasn't eaten anything in the last 4 to 5 days. Also, her body is dehydrated because of no liquid intake. She has marks of a struggle from trying to free herself. There are other marks on her hands and legs, almost as if they were tied with ropes. This might be a police case. We are from the INA. We'll take care of it. Rahul showed his identification card. The day that Rashi had followed Rahul's car, she had abducted Akriti by knocking her out before Rahul could return from the food mall. Rashi had made her lie down on the back seat of her car so that she couldn't be seen from a distance. When Rahul had left for Mumbai, she had taken her to the isolated building in Igatpuri, tied her up and locked her in the room without food or water. Akriti had tried to free herself, which was evident from her scars, but after a point, she no longer had the strength to escape. Rahul was extremely concerned because Akriti's condition was critical. We are injecting glucose into her body through a saline drip. She should gain consciousness in a few hours, however, we need to keep her under observation for another 40 GHT hours, the doctor assured Rahul. Rahul was overwhelmed and couldn't thank the doctor enough. He had thought that he had lost Akriti, and this assurance certainly gave him strength. Every second and every minute in the last 5 days, weird thoughts had haunted his mind, and that strange feeling of losing someone close had made him weak. However, after overcoming all the struggles, there they were, so close, yet so far. Rahul's happiness resided in Akriti's soul, and he desperately wanted to look into her eyes again and say how much he loved her and cared for her. He desperately wanted to hold her hands and give her everything she deserved. He wanted to apologize for whatever suffering she had gone through because of his past. He had realized that it is impossible to put your past behind you and forget about it, because its shadow lurked in your present. Your past was always there, building and rebuilding your character, your soul, and your life. Karen, who got the necessary medicines prescribed by the doctor, went inside the room and placed them beside Akriti. He looked at her and felt sorry. He knew he was to blame for her critical condition. Karen went outside and sat beside Rahul, holding